Good morning, Elevation Health friends and family. Today, I want to share with you a very important topic on cancer. And this month, we're hosting our cancer prevention workshop. That's going to be coming up in a few weeks. And I just want to share with you some of the things that I've learned very briefly this morning as far as my mother's condition. And in 2017, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And although I've been teaching on this subject for many, many years, going through something like this with your family causes things to take on a whole different meaning. So today, I'm going to share with you much of what she went through from diagnosis to testing, as well as different treatments, in addition to the side effects and complications from these things. The reason why this is important is because the latest study published shows that not just 1 out of 2 men, but also 1 out of 2 women will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. And that includes you, and that includes me. So here are the lessons from my mother's cancer condition and her treatment. In 2017, they found several small lesions in her left breast. Biopsy was done to determine if it was benign or malignant. The biopsy showed that it metastasized to the liver. After they did the biopsy and the metastasis, it showed other small lesions that were now also present in the liver as well. The local oncologist that she'd been seeing recommended conventional treatment in the form of chemotherapy, but she initially did not want to do that. So I had referred her to Dr. Raymond Helu, who's also an oncologist, but more on the holistic side in Marbella, Spain. So she went there for a 2-week treatment period. My dad and her spent a few weeks there and had an amazing experience at a world-class facility where they focused on strengthening her body, strengthening her immune system to really just kind of make things an inhospitable environment internally for the cancer. And that included alkalizing nutrition, anti-inflammatory nutrition, anti-cancer supplements, oxygenation, detoxification, and nerve system stimulation. So those were some of the things, but everything really worked very well. She came back. All her test results showed positive as far as her cancer markers being down, and she was really in a good place when she came back there. She still continued to be under the observation of her local oncologist, and she made the decision to go on a preventative form of chemotherapy, a prescription pill, which they said was a mild form of this treatment. And so over the years, the markers had gone down, and then they'd gone back up under this treatment, and then gone back down again, and then back up. Unfortunately, all the while, the side effects were causing a degenerative process, weakening her legs, cracking and bleeding on the soles of her feet, her hands, and her nails. And the medication really only has a 3-year effectiveness window. So after that, it just stops working. And that's eventually the point that she came to last year. The doctor said, we can't do this anymore. The only alternative left is to put a port in your chest and do the chemotherapy. So she really didn't want to do that. But after talking with some friends and other family members who'd received this type of treatment, she finally agreed to it. And the present chemotherapy regimen she's on now for the last few months really hasn't improved her condition. It hasn't improved her cancer numbers. It just seems that her body has been left so weak from all these treatments all these years that it's just not responding at this point. So the side effects from all the conventional medical treatments just has left her with this debilitating condition of neuropathy to the point of her being disabled. I mean, she needs full-time assistance. She can't move her leg. She can't walk. She's confined to a wheelchair. And because of the weakness in her legs, she's tried to walk a few times and had several falls. And she wound up breaking her hip. So she had a hip fracture diagnosed about 4 weeks ago. Her orthopedist told her that if she rested for 4 weeks, there was a chance that it would heal and that maybe she could walk again. Well, 4 weeks later, we found out that just wasn't the case. And her follow-up x-ray showed that the fracture actually had worsened. So yesterday, she woke up in such excruciating pain. Her leg was just swollen like a balloon. So my dad had to rush her to the hospital, and they thought it might have been a blood clot, but thank goodness it wasn't, because she was already scheduled for the hip surgery this morning, And that wouldn't have happened if she had a blood clot. They would have kept her for a while, but thank goodness that was ruled out, and she's actually undergoing surgery this morning. Why am I sharing all this? Because, it causes me to reflect on things, and particularly a person's thinking, decision-making, and the consequences that come with that, for better or worse. And while my family business may be a private matter, I know that I could look at things objectively, knowing that I can help others who may be going through the same process, or even more importantly, how to avoid the worst possible outcomes with going through something like this. So basically, at this upcoming workshop, what I'm going to share with you is, when it comes to cancer, exactly what works and what doesn't work. And, there are genetic factors and all these other things that come into play. But what most people don't understand is that really amounts to maybe 2 to 5% of whether or not a person gets cancer or heals up from cancer. So we need to understand that and learn about, what are the most important factors that influence that and shut off those genes so they don't express themselves. So we need to learn about that, and, not just when it comes to cancer treatments, but also cancer prevention. So I'm going to share with you basically the two main obstacles that I have seen, not just to my mother's healing, but what I see in common with all of my cancer patients. There are two main things that I know cause cancer and actually stop somebody from healing cancer. And you're going to learn about that at the workshop. And remember, for the majority of you watching right now, cancer is not just a matter of if, but rather when. We all have cancer cells that, that grow in the body. And at any given time, you have this happening. And whether or not your body's killing them off is dependent on what you're aware of, what your knowledge is, and what you're doing about it. So statistically, this is the hand that gets played out for all of us. Unless, of course, you have a different approach or you have a different mindset. Now, I was reading in the Bible this morning in Ecclesiastes 11:4. It said, don't wait for the wind to stop blowing to plant your seeds. And don't wait for it to stop raining to start to harvest. Because you don't know the work that the Lord is doing in your life. And if you just sit around idly waiting, nothing's going to happen. So truth be told, the time to start fighting the cancer battle is long before the diagnosis. It's kind of like money in the bank. Start investing in your health education and implementation plan now. And if you do, I can guarantee you there's no more important investment that'll pay a bigger dividend. In the end, your health is your wealth. So make sure you get registered now for our upcoming cancer prevention blockbuster workshop event. It's coming up Monday, April 11th at 5:45. Click the registration link found in the description box below, or call the office. Or if you're in the office now, just walk over to the front desk and put your name down. If you have friends, family members, loved ones that you can think of that need to be here, for some people, this is life and death. So make sure the names get on the registration list, because seating's limited. So thank you so much for joining me today. I love and appreciate you. God bless.